So we are now up to part 2 in Bilvavi Mishkan Evne's work, where we're working on Emunah. This is part 2, section 2. So last time we spoke about how the focus of a Jew's life must be Emunah. In other words, you wake you up in the middle of the night and ask a person, a true Jew, what are you thinking about? The Jew's response should ideally be Emunah, thinking about faith and thinking about feeling the presence of God. That's the goal. Now the question is, how do we get there? So the Bilvavi teaches us that there's two primary drachim. There's intellectual and then there's emotional. So let's first take a moment to talk about intellectually. Intellectually, how can we know that there is a creator of the world who loves us? This is obviously a big question. But the main thing to understand is this is only step 1. First, we have to intellectually know that there is such a thing as a creator. Step 2 is feeling it is much more important. There's a process of yadat hayom, knowing, and then vashevota, and then feeling it. So how do we know? So the Bilvavi suggests 2 ways of knowing there's a creator. First of all, we have something called a tradition. We have a tradition from Moshe Rabbeinu passed down generation to generation that there's such a thing as a creator of the world. Secondly, he suggests that everything in the world is created, right? You'll never find a cup or a radio or a chair and say, it just came out of its own. So too, the world, look at it, it's so beautiful, it's so complex, it's created. And so on and so forth. We can give many intellectual explanations, suggestions as to how we know that the world is created. Perhaps we could talk about the 6-Day War. I would personally talk about how complex and how unrealistic it would be that the world, this complex universe, would come out of nothing. But that's my own 2 cents. And more importantly, the next step is to focus on how do we feel that? How do we feel that? That's what it's really all about. And here's the problem. When it comes to, let's say, knowing I have a foot, I know it intellectually and I see it. So I know I have a foot. When it comes to God, He has no body. He has no body, no form. And the Torah itself says, a person can't live and see me. So it's impossible to see God in the same way that you can see something else. So how do we really feel God's presence if we can't see Him? So the answer, says the Bilvavi, must be that God is a part of us. As the Kabbalah teaches, Kuchabrichu Yisrael Chadhi. God isn't something external to us, like a chair. God is a part of us, like a foot, like our arm. He is inside of us. That's why the name of his sefer is Bilvavi Mishkan Evne. I have to build in my heart a mishkan for God's presence to dwell within me, but He's already there. God's presence is within. The goal is for Him to dwell within a Jew's heart, a Jew's soul. So He's already there. And the question is, can we feel Him? And for this, we'll just close this year. The important thing is to be focusing on opening up our senses of our hearts to try to hear, to try to feel God's presence. Same way, yesterday we were in the forest here in beautiful Papua, and we didn't hear the beautiful singing of the birds until we stopped and listened. We have to open ourselves up to focus, to hear God. The same way a shochet, when he's checking a knife, he can't just check it, he needs to be focusing to see if it's sharp. So too, we need to start opening ourselves up to focus, to feel God's presence in our lives. So B'ezrat Hashem, in the coming chapters, we'll learn about different strategies as to how we can feel God's presence in our lives. But today's message, today's goal is that we should start opening up our mind and our hearts to feel God's presence. And the more we focus on it, hopefully the more we will become more aware of Hashem's presence in our lives. I hope this was helpful. Let me know if it was. Like it if you got something out of it. And I'd love any comments. Have an amazing day.